Hello everybody, my name is Carolyn. I'm going to talk to you today about weblogs. If you are against puns, hold your groan to the end because there are more to come. So weblogs don't sound that sexy. That word will appear again as well at the end. But they are a staple of social media that has been with us now for many, many years. My early work was inspired by the highly contested presidential election of 2004 and the rise of citizen journalism around that Bush-Kerry era. So that was the start of my research into blogs. One of the reasons to think about social media, if we have a photo or an old diary entry pre-digital we don't like, we can just tear it up or discard it. Much like my father might want to get rid of that high quality stash. Also, shout out for first gen, that was me, the little blonde child and the first generation college student in my family. So social media really challenges this notion of control when we think about all that user-generated content that we are pushing out there. In the early days, those early days being 10, 15 years ago, with the proliferation of social media and the dynamic, ephemeral nature of the World Wide Web, there were calls for concern. How will we keep it safe? What if it disappears? It's ephemeral, it's fleeting. But now we know a little more, several years later, that it's, oh, hot dang, how do I get rid of this content that I've pushed out there into the social web? When we publish to the web, we give up some control of those images. Also, there is this low barrier to entry to publish to the web. I forget where my car keys are. Same way, I can forget all the different accounts I've created over the many, many years, and I can quickly lose track of the content that I've pushed out there. In traditional information sciences, we have a term, orphaned works, to refer to materials that are still in copyright, but we don't know who owns the copyright. In an era of social media, what we now have are abandoned works. Hence, lots of different models to explore this. Somebody said I had to point out that that was me. There was the jump. We have the technology acceptance model, we have the data curation lifecycle model, but what we're lacking is awareness of the actual cradle to grave of social media. For example, a lifecycle model. If I'm examining blogging, so what does it mean for me to say that a blog is actually dead? So that's been something that we've been exploring over the years, following a group of blogs. Some preliminary findings. Blogs, FYI, a few of them can vote from our sample, a few of them can drive. The average age, the majority are tweens, just as warning. And that's the chronological age, from the year of first post to the current date when they're still publicly available. Active age, when somebody's actually publishing to that blog, when they're actually updating it through new posts, new content, that's a different story. Now we're dealing with toddlers and small children. So these blogs are still publicly available, but they're not necessarily active. For the blogs in one sample that we looked at, over half of them were currently active. Some of them power users, posting multiple times a year, but the bare minimum to be considered an active blog was one post per year. We also have dead blogs. We characterize dead blogs over a 10-year period as blogs that had not published a new post since before Obama was inaugurated. So that's pre-2008. That's how we characterized dead blogs. We also had dead on arrival. What that means is the blog was born and died in the same year. Again, they're all publicly available. but they're no longer actively published to. We examined those that were dead on arrival as well as dead to see if they left any messages behind about where they might have gone. The majority of them, like a book where the text just stops in the middle. No messages. Others had Terminator-esque messages telling you they'd be back. So that led us to exploring this other life cycle of dormant blogs. Dormant blogs, we had fun with the name on this, the resurrection blogs, Lazarus blogs, zombie blogs. Those are blogs that you might characterize as dead, but aha, they've arisen again. For many of them, they rise after 1 to 2 years of inactivity, but be aware, some blogs start publishing new posts 3, 4, 5 plus years after their last most recent post. So just be aware, manage your blogs, because if you don't, they may be splogged. Splog here can stand for spam as well as sex. Meaning if you're not managing, it'll be amazing for you to go see what has taken over your blogs. Things you may or may not find too sexy. Thanks to all of you on behalf of me and everyone else, and thanks to Cindy Lou, the chop shop next door, for my bangs.